President Diomaye Faye of Senegal has just completed his tour in the long-awaited in the Sahel Alliance states, Burkina Faso and Mali. Now we are here specifically to look at his tour in Mali. What did he say? What are the highlights? Now the highlights is that he not emphasized, but he said it, officially that Senegal will not join the Sahel Alliance states. Hello, I am Mahlet, Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent, and particularly as we follow this revolution in the Sahel Alliance now in the west part of the continent. So he visited first Mali before Burkina Faso, and then later on Burkina Faso. Now he has already completed and left to Dakar. Now, in this, I'm going to share with you within a few seconds, the video of his statement, and we will dissect in it. But just for you to help you to follow up my analysis here. So first of all, there is, Senegal's affirmation of that it will not join AES or the Sahel Alliance states, which is formed by Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Secondly, he said that he talked about the bilateral relations strengthening the common goals. He also talked about that the historical background of the countries, sorry. And then he talked also, what the people expect. Of course, it was a briefing, rather. It's a statement / a briefing. So he also answered questions. So he talked about also ECOWAS. That's where he said as well, I am not a mediator of ECOWAS. So there are two contradictions in here. But let's get into it, and then we will dissect in his speech. Okay. Yeah, greetings, sis Honorine. Okay, greetings. Honorine is in the house. Let me just play this video, and I want you guys, please, to listen to it, and drop your comments, your sections, your reflection, and everything in the comment section as you listen. I will try to give my reflection. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with me, but we can learn from each other.
The Senegalese president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, also made an official visit to Mali. During this visit, he met the Malian authorities and clarified Senegal's position to the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. President Faye of Senegal has stated that the country currently has no plans to join the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, in the near future. This decision has been influenced by Senegal's priority to witness reform and reconciliation within the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, before considering AES membership. President Faye expressed optimism about the potential for ECOWAS to embark on a new path that would prevent the current challenges being faced by the region. The president of Senegal emphasized the significance of enhancing the historical with the Federation of Mali, from which Senegal originated. Additionally, he pointed out the common motto, one people, one goal, one faith, Sahel States, AES. Senegal has reiterated its commitment to standing in solidarity with Mali and other Sahel countries. President Faye.
Let me just go, around here so that where the speech starts.
Faye's visit to Bamako illustrates Senegal's desire to maintain balanced diplomacy in the region. Senegal favors dialogue and regional cooperation to face common challenges, while remaining faithful to its commitments to ECOWAS. Senegal's decision to abstain to join the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, can be interpreted as a prudent and conservative stance. However, it also signifies a strategic, forward-looking investment, demonstrating confidence in the ability of regional organizations to undergo internal reforms. Senegal, an efficient economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, can assume a more substantial responsibility in advancing peace, security, and development in the West African region. Our efficient economic community of West African states, ECOWAS, can assume a more substantial responsibility to a more secure and prosperous future for the region. I am here as part of the continuity of these relations, which we want to strengthen on the diplomatic level, on the commercial level, and on the level of consultation for the taking charge of all the challenges that we share, namely terrorism, the fight against illicit trafficking. We have other challenges that we must face together, namely the ecological challenges at the level of the Faye'S. You know that we share a precious resource, namely water, with the OMVS River, with Mali. And we have other common challenges related to the taking charge of the aspirations of our people. You know that through history, geography, and historical links, Senegal has maintained a privileged relationship with Mali. And I came in this context, and I am pleased with the welcome that has been reserved for me in Mali, as well as the delegation that accompanies me. I am also pleased to have found my brother, Colonel Assimi Goïta, president of the Malian transition.
What he calls him there? My brother, Colonel Assimi Goïta. He's not calling him the junta leader, the one who did a coup d'etat, the one who did this and that as a Western media. He calls him a brother. Now, forget what he said that Senegal is not joining IES or something, but, you know, we have to really dissect when leaders speak, because it speaks a volume. You really have to read between the lines, okay? Now, he is conveying a message directly, what it means for him to visit these people. He have seen the warm welcome that he received, his officials as well, and the people of Mali have gone to the street to support him, to welcome him, and all the officials, high officials, the president himself, Colonel Assimi Goïta, came and received him. So he is calling him a brother. The others do not even want to speak to Assimi Goïta, the others in ECOWAS. I mean, forget the African Union, forget the Western mainstream media or whatever, who still calls these leaders of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger as junta leaders, okay, or the military coupists or whatever. So he is calling him a brother. If you really know, I mean, I am obsessed with language because it says a lot. Also the body language, not only words. So he is calling it a brother, and that should mean a lot. We continue to listen.
All the availability and commitment to strengthen bilateral cooperation, but also to strengthen the consultation on the multilateral level, whether at the sub-regional, regional level, but also at the international level. We also talked about the question of the ECOWAS.
So before we go to ECOWAS, now he has talked also, just like what he did in the same he did in Burkina Faso. He emphasized that there is a common challenge that they're facing, namely basically the security issues, the terrorism issue. And then he also he mentioned about historically what the two countries share, which is, I'm going to share with you later. I'm going to give you a little historical background, what Senegal and Mali, if you are familiar with this, with history, then these two countries have created in the 1960s, right after independence, that a country called the Mali Federation. And the Mali Federation consists of Mali and Senegal, and Mali was at that time called something else, but I will later on I will share with you. Now let's listen to him, what he is saying about ECOWAS now to the Malian officials, and it's to the national television.
As you know, Mali is a member of the States of the Sahel Alliance. Those who have followed my travels in the different countries of the ECOWAS have heard me preaching this good word. I have learned a lot from the Colonel. I understood the Malian position, which, although rigid, is not totally inflexible. We think that we must continue to work with all the parties involved, not to be discouraged, to find happy outcomes that allow us to strengthen integration, either by me.
So now the other thing that he makes clear is that now he said, I understand, I learned from the colonel, he says Colonel Asim Goita, whom he calls his brother. And then he also said, I understand there's a rigid position, meaning Mali has made it clear, Colonel Asim Goita has made it clear to him that Mali is not going back to ECOWAS. End of the story. The same thing Ibrahim Traore said. And Niger, he's not even visiting Niger, and Niger also said, in fact, ECOWAS has to join AES, meaning the Sahel Alliance, the Alliance of the Sahel states. So we get this clear. Now they have made it clear, and also he makes it clear his position. He said, but also I see there is a room for flexibility, so which he admired, so that will allow them to engage, in dialogue in the future, not really joining ECOWAS or something, but as a whole, they're open-minded. It's not like the others, the ECOWAS on the other side, who closed their doors and literally and physically their borders, their airspace. Many things that they have sanctioned, not only the leaders, but also the people of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger.
Means of bilateral cooperation, but also by trying to correct the shortcomings that we have noticed in multilateral cooperation, especially in the sub-regional and regional institutions that have valued us. This is a regrettable situation that we are living, but we cannot give up observing a formidable integration tool in its conception, in the results that it has valued us, and which has been cited as an example, disintegrate without doing anything. We have a legacy of founding fathers who had a vision that was certainly very shaken.
He regrets that they are not part of it, but he definitely made it clear that we should be able to continue to dialogue and work together because there's a lot to share. Now, he reached where the historical part, okay?
We have a legacy of founding fathers who had a vision that was certainly very shaken, which was put to the test. But we also have the responsibility to transmit it intact or in better condition. Now, I would like to salute here for what is the case of Mali, the posture of bravery and dignity of the Malian people.
The bravery and the dignity, he said, of the Malian people. That's something you need to pay attention. Also, those of you who have been here when I streamed the previous part, analyzing his speech or statement in Burkina Faso with President Ibrahim Traore, he said that he admired the resilience of the Burkinabe people. He admired the leadership, the commitment of, Ibrahim Traore. Now, the same thing he is saying now, the dignity of the Malian people. So he is recognized. There is also a recognition of these people. He's not alienating them. He's not like condemn. Of course, you might say it's diplomacy. How can he condemn? He condemns while he's on a state visit, but even to say this, he knows it's not only us Pan-Africanists or the Malian people or the Senegalese people who are watching it. He is being watched by the French government right now while he does this. They even have mentioned their concern few days ago, the fact that he decided to visit this Sahel Alliance. So he knows that whatever he say will be each, dissected between the lines, and he gonna be put in question as he did not break away with the French government, and they said they want to continue in partnership. So he's not saying this unconsciously or something. It's something, and it has a meaning, and that meaning is that he's showing his support. For me, you might disagree with this, his support that what the Malian people are going through, and their determination and resilience and dignity for the past 2 years, almost 2 years.
Which, in the face of the difficulties that have been noted on the security level and in relation to the sanctions that have been imposed, has still held, has kept a guideline that it has tried to share in order to be understood, and which has still been able to stand up. We think that we must have this active solidarity and this renewed fraternity with the Malian people to ensure that they can get out of this impasse very quickly. We see the efforts that are being made by the Malian people through large consultations, which give results. And we hope, in any case, we have faith in the resilience of this people to get out victorious very quickly. We must not give up and say that we can't do anything anymore. There are difficulties. We must speak to each other and understand them. And from the level of understanding and gaps in positions, see what is possible to build from the existing foundation. I will always rectify and say that I am not a mediator of the ECOWAS, not at all.
You hear that? He also made it clear, I am not the mediator of ECOWAS. He also disassociates himself from ECOWAS. But that doesn't mean, again, he makes it clear for us not to make a conclusion. He is not joining AES, meaning Senegal will not join the Sahel Alliance. Now, he's trying to play it neutral. But is it neutral? Not really. It's not neutral. We know the fate, for me, the fate of Senegal will join the Sahel Alliance because it will not be, it cannot break away from the from the past anti-colonial power or neo-colonialism without really doing it the way these countries have done it. It can be dangerous, but let's see how it will continue, For now, so he said he's not a mediator of ECOWAS. That means disassociating for me.
I am not mandated by any ECOWAS body. I have never served in any ECOWAS meeting. I was recently elected. I am in a process of early contact, of greeting, of thanks. As you know, Colonel Gerda sent a delegation during my speech. And it is precisely in the context of this performance, of this journey, of thanks, of the bilateral cooperation between Senegal and the countries I visit.
And this means that to say I'm not a mediator of ECOWAS. I am not mandated by him. He also, it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be a messenger of ECOWAS. He don't want to be portrayed as that person, because we have heard Nana Akufo-Addo and Bola Tinubu telling him that, expressing their hopes that they're happy this new president came in town. I'm just speaking informally, and that they hope that he will be able to resolve the problem with the Sahel Alliance. And that's what he has been told. That means, you don't have to be designated formally by paper, but definitely you are carrying a message. It might be the Senegal's interest as well, but it's also, we have been also shown it is the interest of those ECOWAS big boys, right? But yeah, let's continue.
This is not the time of the day. As I told you, I do not despair to see the ECOWAS return to new foundations that prevent us from the situation that we are going through today. As long as we are in this momentum, I consider that we must work within the ECOWAS with the different stakeholders of this transition. But Senegal is not in the mood to join an assembly.
You see that? That's the statement now you should take. Senegal is not in the mood to join the assembly, meaning the Sahel Alliance.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Okay, now, if you see, you have seen a lady in front, with a mic. That is, journalists are asking him a question and he is answering for that. So, maybe perhaps she asked him a further question, the reasons, and he said, well, for whatever reason. So that means for whatever reason is he do not want to disclose, or he don't want to go to in detail. But he said, for what Senegal is not in the mood to join the assembly for whatever it is. So that says a lot, doesn't it? But yeah, let us know in the comment section. So what do you think of his? So this is a statement officially of the Senegal's president Diomaye Faye when he was in Bamako, and it's more or less the same thing that he spoke in Ouagadougou, also in Burkina Faso. The main thing is here he mentioned, he said it, he expressed, or he said it literally, Senegal will not join AES, but the fact that he's not a mediator, he also said it in Ouagadougou. So you can see two things. He's disassociating from ECOWAS, but then he's telling us also Senegal will not join the AES, and he said he's not mandated by the AES, and he expressed support and admiration and the dignity and the resilience of the Malian people, and the same thing for Burkina Faso. So it could seem all when you put it all together on the table, it sounds like a contradiction, but that's how diplomacy works, and that's how politics is. You're just walking on this thin line, but let's see how far it can get Senegal at this point, because as I said again and again, Senegal experts, they want to break away with the colonial past. They said that they don't understand why the French military is there. By the way, let me just give you a bit of a shocking statistics. 30% of the country is occupied by the French military, and Senegal is an independent country. What do you say about that? That's what Ousmane Sonko, the prime minister of Senegal, questioned. We questions the future of the presence of the French military in Senegal. He said, if we are said to be an independent country, we question the French military presence in Senegal, occupying 30% of the capital city. And Senegal is not that big country. Okay, so on the next video, I'll talk about the cultural tie, how this Mali Federation ends. I see that history repeating itself in a way. So just tune in, and our next video will talk about this, what kind of historical background Mali and Senegal had before, right after their independence. Thanks again for tuning in. Greetings. I'll give a shout out to Honorine S. She was here early. Thank you. J-Pat also. Greetings. I have told you he's a wolf in a sheep clothing. I mean, again, Sankofa, thank you for being here. But I disagree. We can agree to disagree. I just don't see that. They are just trying to play it safe, because a lot of now economically, France holds a lot of things, and they did not break away from that contract. Except for the fishing industry, the fishing industry, they say they revoked it and they want to revise it. But other than that, they didn't touch it. A lot of things, these people, you have no idea how many things they, not physically occupy the territory, but the economy is literally in the hands of France. But of course, that doesn't mean Senegal cannot do it, because they have seen how Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso have done it. They are, literally, as I have been saying, a political sacrifice for anyone in the continent who wants to break away from their previous colonizer, who wants to get the freedom of economy, who want to free their economy from neo-colonialism. There is an example set by, or a precedent set by these countries, but Senegal just chose a different path. But at the same time, they're showing us their support for this country, and no one else have done it in the Sahel Alliance or in ECOWAS. They're taking a risk. Seriously, watch for the reaction of Europe. Watch the reaction in general from the Western countries of this man. Let's hope that he will be safe. This really is not taken lightly by the Westerners, and he knows exactly what kind of things they are committing to, and that's a risk to take. And I'm telling you, I have seen in my life such things, and we all have seen historically. We have learned how many leaders have been taken away from us when they start to be independent. Although Senegal trying to play it safe, but still they know that it's not playing it safe. He's officially there, and he's calling them a brother. He's he's giving them a recognition for everything that they have gone through. That's my view. By the way, my name is pronounced Honorine. Okay, Honorine. Sorry. Okay, I will correct that. You can't trust him. Why would he tell them to rejoin ECOWAS and be programs always? AES is an African shining light. African countries should follow. Exactly. I say that not only regional REX or the regional economic associations or whatever in the continent, but also the African Union has to take a guidance or a guideline from the Sahel Alliance. He doesn't have to join IAS, but just build a strong relationship. Yeah. Oh, I missed it. Greta Woodson. Yeah, please check. If you missed the other video, please go ahead and check it out. The one I analyzed, the one in Burkina Faso. I'm proud of them. Me too. And please, if you want to support our channel, here I am sharing with you in the chat section our PayPal account. It will help us here to be here more often and to bring you analysis of what's happening in the continent as it happens. And thanks again. Please share the video, like it, and then subscribe to the channel. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.